Hi there, I'm Vincent Bos, and I'm a life coach, relationship coach, and breakup coach. And in today's podcast, we're going to be discussing make your ex feel regret with food. I provide audio coaching for breakup recovery, trying to get an ex back, attracting someone new, and life coaching. Visit www.dateme.tips for more details. Please check your spam and junk folders if you are expecting an email from me. Subscribe to my weekly support emails. The link is in the description. So now let's get back into today's podcast. And today we are discussing make your ex feel regret with food. So if you have been dumped and want to try to get your ex back, you need your ex to regret their decision. In today's podcast, I'll be discussing a complete plan of action connected to food, with the aim of making your ex regret the breakup pointed out within 3 steps. Now you need to listen to all of them to fully understand the concept and begin to take action. So if you're serious about trying to get your ex back, please listen to this in full. So let's get straight into this, and point number 1 is start eating super healthy. So I'm going to just take a guess that you listening to today's podcast are someone who could eat healthier. Now I'm not guessing this because I'm trying to make an assumption about you specifically, but just more along the lines of I believe that everybody can eat healthier. Maybe 0.0001% of the population eat as healthy as they could, but most of us don't. Most of us could improve, and this can help us for many reasons. If we eat healthy, we are increasing the chance of us living a healthy, long-lasting life. Now, if that wasn't enough, it also has a byproduct of making us more physically attractive. And this is really important when we are trying to make our ex-dumper feel regret. And this is how I'm going to be connecting point number 1 with food, because today we're speaking about how to make your ex feel regret connected with food. And each point in today's podcast is going to be connecting to food in a different way, but is all along the same plan of action of what we can do to try and increase the chance of your ex feeling regret. And if they feel enough regret, if they rebuild enough romantic emotional attraction in their mind for you, well, this is when we're going to reach out, and hence this plan of action could hopefully get you closer to reconnecting with your ex. So first of all, we need to consider what I'm saying here in point number 1. Start eating super healthy. Now you might be thinking, well, I don't really care about this element. I just want to know about the strategy of what to say to my ex. But listen, your ex-dumper is unlikely to feel regret about their decision unless they consider you someone that they really want to date. We can consider it fitting into one of 2 main categories: mindset and physicality. Now the physicality side of it is something which is very, very important. There are lots of people out there who might say, well, relationships are about more than whether you find them physically attractive. And although it is important, of course, to have a mindset connection, we can't dismiss the physicality. The difference between platonic friendship and romantic relationship in reality is about physical attraction leading to physical intimacy. So physically attracting our ex is vital, and we need to almost wow them the next time that they see us. We need them to be thinking, wow, my dumpee looks incredible. And the way to achieve this is to eat super healthy. It's to eat healthy and to exercise regularly. Now, if we consider more so in today's podcast on the eating healthy, this is something that you can literally start today. If you're not already eating healthily, then this might be something that you could easily consider what you need to do to change elements about what you are consuming. Although maybe you're listening to this and thinking, well, I believe I eat fairly healthy. Okay, well, I'm still sure there is something that you could do to improve your situation. Now, whether you want to look online, whether you want to ask friends or family for advice, whether you want to go really in depth on this and contact a nutritionist, I don't know how far you want to go on this, and this is something that you need to decide for yourself. Ultimately, though, it's just about eating as healthy as you realistically can. We're not trying to make you go overboard on what you feel very uncomfortable doing, but just taking accountability and responsibility about what we put in our own body. Because if we don't take accountability and responsibility about what we put in our own body, and we almost don't care about how healthy we are and how we physically look, if we don't care about that, well, how can we expect anybody to feel particularly bothered about us? If we're not bothered about ourselves, why should anybody else care either? So it's really, really important that we do give ourselves that self-care via taking the responsibility for what this actually means. And this is a really important part of this master plan that we're talking about in today's podcast. Everything's connected to food in different ways. And point number one is very much about ourselves. You know, some of my podcasts, we talk about how that we can only control the controllables. We can't control necessarily what our ex is doing day to day. But this is something that we can really concentrate on, because this is something we have huge control over. We have control about what we eat, about what we drink, and about bad substances we might be taking as well. Of course, they should be removed. You know, if you are taking bad substances and you know what they are, you need to stop that. It's terrible for your health, and it's certainly terrible for how you're going to be physically looking as you get older. Your health really should be the main reason why you're trying to make such a change, but the byproduct of which is as you get older, it really tells how we've been looking after our body. And if we want our ex-dumper to feel regret, the first thing we want to be doing is wowing them by if and when they see us, they think, gosh, my ex-dumpee looks much better than when we were last together. So now let's get into point number 2 and the second point of today's podcast. Please give this video a like and let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you like my content, subscribe to the channel to keep updated. And point number 2 is learn how to cook. Now today we're speaking about how to make your ex-dumper feel regret and connecting this to food. And point number 2 is learn how to cook. Now maybe you think, well, I can already cook. Well, listen, even if you believe you can, I'm pretty sure there will be extra things you can learn how to make. I'm pretty sure nobody listening here knows how to cook everything. So either you're already bad at cooking and you need to just take a few lessons by speaking to your friends and family or looking online, or maybe you think you are fairly competent at cooking and you might need to take things to the next level. Maybe you need to join a class or a club of some kind where you can learn how to cook things at an even higher level than you do right now. Now, either way, and irrespective of where you are at this point, this can help you in a whole manner of ways. Firstly, if you know how to cook, you're probably more likely to cook yourself a healthy meal, which links in with point number 1, and eating healthy. But more importantly, it allows you to learn a new skill, which is something that we're going to be trying to, again, wow our ex-dumper with later on. And this is where it's all going to tie in about this plan of action, about how connecting to food, we can make our ex-dumper feel regret. Now, if you do decide to go to some type of class, this can be really beneficial for you to make new connections. Even if you don't know how to cook anything at all, you might be able to find a beginner's class. They can be really, really helpful for learning a skill, but also, as I said, making new connections from the other people who are learning as well. When we've been dumped, we often have a lot of time to ourselves. Fill it by joining a class group or club. Fill it, in this respect, by joining a cooking class. Learn a skill, make new friends, who knows? somebody might become more than a friend, even if you don't really want to think of it that way. Maybe they will. You never know. But even if you are purely concentrating on your ex, making new connections is never a bad thing. Practicing your perishable skills, in this instance, such as communication skills, learning new things, going out and about with new people, these things are going to help you. If your ex-dumper reaches out to you one day and you haven't spoke to anybody new in the last few months, you're probably going to be quite out of practice in communication. It's something that you don't necessarily think about, but you really need to practice these skills. If we don't use these perishable skills, we lose these perishable skills. And I'm not just talking about cooking in this instance. I'm talking about communication. I'm talking about body language. I'm talking about situations where you meet new people, trying to become less awkward. All of these things can help you on dates. They can help you with your ex. So learning how to cook has many, many positives. But when we connect it to today's podcast, one of the main things that it can be helpful for is that if you and your ex-dumper meet up again, you could invite them to your home potentially and cook them a meal, something that they didn't know you could do. Now we have to consider that your ex-dumper believes that they know every single thing about you. They believe they know your skill set. If you can cook something for them, which they just didn't realize that you had the ability to do, well, it can be super attractive, because cooking and the act of cooking and eating, it is very romantic in the vibe. So cooking your ex a meal, if you get to that stage again, it can be really beneficial for reforming your connection. Now, if you would like advice and support about how to try and increase the chance of one day getting your ex back, then you may want to consider my audio coaching service, where me and you can speak one-on-one about your unique specific situation. This is the best and diamond level of support that I can provide. Go to my website www.dateme.tips for more information about how I can become your coach and your teammate via my audio coaching service. Talking about your feelings can also improve your mental health. It helps prevent the buildup of negative emotions, which can lead to stress, anxiety, depression, and even physical health issues. Speak your heart to free your mind. So now let's get into point number 3 and the final point of today's podcast. If you feel that this podcast has helped you, then please consider buying me a coffee. The link to do so is in the description. And point number 3 is post online. So today we're speaking about a plan of action about how to create regret in your ex-dumper's mind and connecting it to food. Now this is a situation where I've suggested that you learn how to cook, and this is going to help you with your own meals, eating healthily. It could also help you if you and your ex-dumper were to ever meet up again, because you could wow them with a meal that you cook and surprise them with this skill set. But now let's find that middle piece. Now let's find that connecting piece of a puzzle of how you can get your ex to feel that regret and get to the stage of wanting to see you again, enabling you to cook them this meal. And that is to post online. And this is where everything we've spoke of today comes together. If you are eating healthy, remember what I said in point number 1. One of the ways your ex-dumper could see these improvements is because you have posted new photos of yourself online, looking healthy, looking fit, looking better than they remember. On top of this, I would like you to post photos of the meals that you've been cooking. Now this is going to cause your ex-dumper some level of confusion if they didn't know you were particularly interested in cooking, or even if they thought you were, maybe you don't normally post photos of what you've just made. These things create intrigue and wonder, and your ex-dumper might reach out to you because of it. Now, that is going to be one element of why they might wonder about what you're doing if they just see a photo of a meal, but we can really move it up a notch by this next suggestion. And this is I would like you to take a photo of you preparing a dinner party. Now, in reality, this dinner party could just be for your friends, could just be for your family. You're showing off the things that you've learned how to cook. These photos are going to be of you making the food, but also of the table, also of an empty glass, showcasing that at least one other person is going to be eating with you. You can play around with this and have some fun in the photographs that you take, showing that you are having a dinner party. But it might not be with your friends or your family. It could actually be with the people that you're learning at cookery class with, if you decided to learn that way. Maybe you learned online, maybe you learned from your own friends or family. But if you did decide to take a class, maybe it's these people who are actually coming to taste what you've made. Either way, if you post photos of yourself looking healthy and fit and attractive, if you post photos of meals that you have cooked, and if you post photos of a dinner party being prepared with clearly knives, forks, cutlery, glasses, clearly something is going on, your expert-dumper is going to be wondering, why? What's happening? I didn't see this coming. What is my expert-dumpee doing? And it can, in some instances, generate wonder, intrigue, and get into the stage of regret. If they believe that you are a better person, a more interesting person, a more attractive person than they last remembered, then the level of romantic emotional attraction can grow, the wonder, the intrigue, the missing you, and the regret. And this can be the stage of where your expert-dumper can reach out to you.